politicians do. That's where the corruption element comes in. Well, Greenspan panicked in the year 2000. There was a stock market crash. Then he slashed interest rates to almost zero. What was the idea of slashing interest rates to zero? People borrow more money. That's eventually, he always comes back to creating more debt to solve a problem. Not that do something so that wages go up with rising productivity, which is only fair. Isn't it fair? That if you are more productive, you are paid more, that's only fair. But we wouldn't want to do that which is ethical and fair, no, he wants to create more debt in the economy by slashing interest rates to almost zero. Well, now I was watching him at that time, so I knew at that time this would be an incredible housing bubble because low interest rates create great demand for housing. Almost everybody buys a home on credit. And when the credit cost is low, there will be tremendous demand for homes, and there will be an artificial jump in the housing business, in the housing market. So, well, the economy came back. He was able to create demand, consumer demand through these, by creating more debt. Incredible amount of debt. When the interest rates are zero, close to zero, debt creation will be faster than ever in history. And Greenspan got applause from the rest of the world. He has solved the problem one more time. He did not solve the problem, he just postponed it. Because, remember, new debt cannot go on, rise forever. So he was, so at that time, I finally got tired of his deception. It was actually worse than deception. So I wrote a book in 2005 when he was still the Federal Reserve Chairman. People told me, don't write this book, you're being very foolish, you are going to destroy your career. So I wrote a book called Greenspan's Fraud. See, somebody has to take inserts and ridicule to bring the truth out. So I thought, okay, why doesn't it as well be me? And you know that here at SMU, they have author award every year. They have author competition. And I asked an economist, a colleague, could you nominate my book for possible award competition? He won't touch it. No, Greenspan's Fraud. No, Greenspan is the greatest economist ever born in the world. I said, look, I have written it, at least you can nominate it, you know. No, he won't touch it. Anyway. Now, some 2-3 weeks ago, CNN selected Greenspan as one of the top 10 culprits responsible for the current mess. I don't know if you're aware of that. And in fact, Greenspan himself admitted before Congress, he was giving testimony to the Senate, and he said, yes, I made a mistake, but I still don't know why, what happened. He needs to read my book, what happened, to find out. He needs to read Greenspan's Fraud to find out what happened. He still doesn't know the supply-demand formula and the wage productivity gap formula. There's a gap between wages and productivity. That's why we call it the wage productivity gap theory. Productivity is rising fast, wages are not, so there's a wage productivity gap in society. Well, time passed, and the economy made a comeback with the help of all those home equity loans. The people are borrowing money on their home equity, they're mortgaging their future, and the government is very happy. The government is encouraging this trend. Why? It's making Bush look good. It's creating jobs. You're borrowing jobs from the future because, as I said, debt cannot keep rising forever. And then the government encouraged the banks to lend as much money as possible. Go, lend money. We need to create consumer demand. So that's artificial way to create consumer demand. So they kept lending money. But this debt creation cannot go on forever. Why? It's a simple reason. People run out of good collateral. Home equity, once home equity was gone, already mortgaged, people can't borrow anymore. But the trouble is, productivity rises every year, keeps rising every year. So there's more supply coming up into the market, and you're not permitting wages to rise, so you have to keep raising debt. But now the problem is, banks can't lend anymore. People don't have collateral anymore. And then on the other side, the likes of ExxonMobil, Texaco, Chevron, all these merged businesses, merged oil companies, they were closing down their gas stations. You might have noticed that 5-10 years ago, you used to find a gas station around the corner. Now you have to drive 5 miles before you find one. So when they close down these gas stations, there's not much competition left among these pumping stations. And the competition is gone, obviously gasoline price will zoom. So these friends of Bush-Cheney administration, the oil companies who are raising gas prices by eliminating competition among gas stations. So here you have the source of the real trouble, the trigger. On the one side, the banks can't lend money anymore, and they have to. On the other side, oil prices are rising and consumer demand is falling even more. So the two collided, and we find that at the start of this year, people have a choice. They make payment to the banks, or they buy gasoline. And they have to buy gasoline, they have to get to work. So the mortgage payments start to fall. And mortgage payments start to fall, banks start to lose money. And there is the start of a credit crisis, the banking crisis, and then since everything is based on debt, once there is a chain reaction, the chain starts to fall. And then things start to unravel. And that's where we are now. By now, banks have lost billions and billions of dollars. The money that they have loaned on many homes is worthless. Those homes are worthless, and the securities are worthless because people can't pay back their mortgages. People are being laid off. And what does the government do? Once again, create more debt. I don't know. The government, your tax cuts at the start of this year, tax rebates, you can't think of anything else. Why don't you do something that would raise wages? Raising wages would be a win-win policy. Everybody would be happy. Not only would the problem be solved, everybody's living standard will rise as well. People will pay more in taxes as wages go up. Government's revenue will rise. We wouldn't have that much budget deficit and so on. But the trouble is that if wages are to rise, then you have to give up free trade. You have to give up outsourcing. Now when you live by slogans, when you make economic policy with the help of slogans, and the slogan is, free trade is great for the economy, great for society. Why? Because it raises productivity. And you just can't live on productivity alone, you live on wages, not on productivity.